welcome back to ST Supercars and a very warm welcome to the Alfa Romeo Giulia QUADRIFOGLIO. This car is Alfa's answer and it's set to rival BMW M and Mercedes AMG. Does that mean we're finally going to get the fast Italian family car that we've all been waiting for? Inside the beautifully bodied family saloon, Alfa have dropped a 2.9 litre twin turbocharged V6 that produces over 500 brake horsepower and over 440 pound-foot of torque. With a curb weight of only 1524 kilograms, this is one incredibly light car. This weight is down to some very expensive bits of carbon fibre such as the prop shaft and the bonnet. The UK is only going to see the ZF8 speed, but with over 500 brake horsepower and rear wheel drive, on paper this looks like it's going to be one very fun car. Shall we see what it's like on the road?
So I've got the great opportunity today to actually have a little go in this and kind of discuss my initial thoughts and impressions on the car. So first off, just to talk a little around this car in particular. So first, to introduce the car, I'm in the Alfa Giulia QUADRIFOGLIO, which is basically the Italian answer to AMG or M, essentially. And it features up front a 2.9 V6 twin turbocharged engine, which pushes out around, I think, 512 brake and 443 pound-foot of torque, so it's no slouch. That's significantly more than the BMW M4 I drove the other week. So it pushes out quite a lot of power and it will do 0 to 60 in, I think it's 3.9 seconds, which is rapid for a car of this size and stature. Straight away I noticed the steering is a little bit softer. Than the M4. Feels a little bit, being honest, the ride, wow. Just going through a puddle, that is a lake. Jesus Christ. kill me, I swear. So this car feels softer immediately than the M4 I drove the other week. The steering feels a little bit, it's not as direct, being honest. The whole car generally feels a little less clinical than an M4, but there's one thing where this car trumps the M4, is noise. This 2.9 V6 they've developed for this car is incredibly, it sounds insane. The noises it makes are just outrageous. Yeah, so I think overall as a package this is a little bit softer than an M4, it's a little bit less clinical. However, the engine and exhaust note, being honest, are a friggin' masterpiece. It just sounds... So what are my first thoughts after jumping in this car? Immediately, steering and handling. Steering is pretty direct. In fact, it's very direct. It's got a nice feel to it, which is a bonus. Let me just open a window and get some of the noises in. This car sounds incredible. So yeah, in terms of actual ride handling, I find it very useful. One thing I do really like about this Alfa actually is it does have on down here an independent suspension setting button, so it essentially has bumpy mode road, which in the UK for day-to-day driving genuinely is a must. So down here you've got the kind of drive mode selector, which is a nice little twisty wheel. So you've got, I think you've got all weather or like kind of wet weather one. You've got normal, you've got dynamic, and then if you hold and feel the positive click, we have race mode. So I've currently got the car set up in race mode just so it makes the outrageous noises out the back. But what race mode does is actually turns everything off, so you've got no traction, no ESP, no nothing. So obviously not advised in the wet whatsoever. The way this thing builds speed is just insane. That motor, for some reason, it's a little bit lethargic lower down, but when you get up in it and you're really using the revs, it's very happy to kind of go to that top end. It feels a little bit freer revving than the M4 engine I drove a couple of weeks ago. As I say, I think the M4 has that little bit more broader power band, particularly with torque. But this thing moves, seriously. If you get up in it and start driving it, it shifts. I'd imagine in auto mode sometimes you might get caught out a little bit and it might feel a touch lethargic potentially, just because of, I kind of find until maybe 3.5 it doesn't really get going and you're like, come on, come on, come on. But aside from that, the engine is a peach, masterpiece. So I've read online that the engine was developed for Alfa by the guy who developed the California T Ferrari engine. So it's a very similar engine, just with 2 cylinders chopped off. So I believe. One thing I would say is it is truly fantastic. Some of the noises this thing makes, just outrageous. Even at low speeds now as we go along. It's just incredible. This thing makes the M4 I drove seem quiet. This thing cracks, it pops, it bangs, it's so loud. Alfa have nailed this car. Yeah. The thing is, the way this car builds speed is like, it's not like the M4. The M4 was quick, but you knew you were going quick. This thing, go through the gears and you're just doing some outrageous speed. So yeah, after a quick couple of minutes in the car, I've now got to go and get back into the M140, and yeah, my time is up in this. But overall, this car is outrageous. It sounds incredible, and the power delivery is very, very smooth, and it's happy to go towards the top end, which is lovely to see. Thanks for watching today, and if you've got any comments, leave them below and subscribe to the channel. Cheers guys.